Giyani residents have taken to the streets to demand access to water. Their patience has been running thin after government failed to complete the multi-billion rand Nandoni water project. It was commissioned in 2014 and, of course, still remains outstanding. We're joined by Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu. Minister Mchunu, good evening to you. Thank you for your time tonight. So in May this year, you were part of a visit to the Giyani area. You had the opportunity of interacting with community members there and specifically promised that community that by September 2022, they would have running water, access to water in their villages. That has not happened. Why?
Well, firstly, when we said so, we meant it. When we said so, we knew we would need to work very hard, both in actually marshalling contractors, marshalling the implementing agent, which is Lepelle, including the consultants. Did we do that? Yes, we did that. Did we succeed? Yes, we succeeded. What were the challenges that were totally unforeseen? One, it is that we had Chief Ramoba, who is one of the affected traditional leaders in terms of the area of the pipe, who at some point, I think last 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, if not just over a month ago, he raised concerns. These concerns had something to do with what happened to the residents that were removed when the dam was established. These were people who were in the neighborhood. They were promised houses, there were to be roads and so on. So when we came, those things were outstanding, but we attended to them far more than reasonable. But at some stage, as I say, in the last a month ago or so, there was a contractor who had been hired by Vembe District Municipality who had nothing to do with Nandoni Ntsami scheme, but was doing work in the area. And the chief had a problem with some aspects of that, and then this resulted into the stoppage, not of that contractor, but of our work. Now, that affected us because we had to sit down and negotiate with Chief Ramoba. It took just above 3 weeks to do that. Now, on the other hand, we are less than, just to be generous, less than 4 kilometers before water reaches Ntsami Dam, which is right in Giyani. And by the way, I must say that our work is now in Giyani itself. We are right in Giyani with water and pressure, but we have not reached Ntsami Dam, which our pipe from Nandoni Dam will dish out water to. And then from that dam, water will go to waterworks, and from there to reservoirs, and then from there to the villages. And so we were, in essence, affected by that intervention, which required us to respect the chief, have listened to the concerns, and link up with Vembe District and the said contractor to resolve their problems so that the chief could allow work to progress, and that took us 3 weeks.
Minister, do you accept that as a result of these delays, the people of of Giyani and the affected villages have been let down yet again. And you yourself have previously described the failure of this project to deliver as an embarrassment to government. Any day that goes by where there isn't access to water continues that embarrassment for government.
Let me say to you, I'm listening very carefully as you say, word for word. Yes, it is a problem. It affects credibility more than embarrassing. It affects trust. But on the other hand, I must emphasize this, that the last time I was in Giyani, I followed the pipe with water and pressure into Giyani, and I even followed the route under the road that gets into Giyani. There was already a tunnel there. I would say, yes, an opening where the pipe would go, and then I followed the route of the pipe into the tunnel, because there's a tunnel, a working tunnel there, into which our pipe will pour water that will take water to Nzami. Now, I then spoke to the villagers that were there, that are the neighborhood of the route of the pipe, to say, what's your impression about the work that we are doing here? And they said, Minister, we're very happy about what's happening. We see that finally we are going to get water. We may not yet be receiving water, but we see you here. We see the contractors. And as of yesterday, I had a meeting with the Honorable Mayor of Mopani, Mayor Shai, and the Business Forum and the Community Forum, who apparently are part of those who were blocking the roads and so on. I showed them videos of people who are at work right into their area, Giyani. So in other words, yes, in the sense that we are not yet giving water to people, but our presence there is seen and is known and has been registered, which is something that we've done within a year after the stoppage of that project for 3 years. Now, what does this mean? It means that while water has not yet reached the villages, but we have arrived in Giyani, we have eliminated what would have been a real embarrassment, just to say, well, I go there, do public relations. I didn't do that. And I believe that for everyone who is there would see the difference, because we were with them there and they know
and Minister, when you were there,
yes,
the people did give you the benefit of the doubt. They did give government an opportunity to continue with the work, which is why yesterday is also significant, because they now get the sense that they are back in for what could be a similar experience, especially given the fact that they've waited for the completion of this project under 3 other different ministers.
Yes, in the sense that we are working backwards. We are working to cover the work that had stopped for around 3 years without any progress. And therefore, we inherit that deficit. We inherit that liability. And people have been patient, waiting for water, and instead getting things like SIU and ceaseless explanations. But I must emphasize this. We have arrived in Giyani with water and with pressure. That can't be denied by anyone. And it's something that has never happened before, all the time they were waiting. And therefore, even even though we haven't arrived with water to villages as such, but we have arrived and we're there.
Sure. I think the real reward for the residents will be when that water reaches the villages, which is where it's needed the most. When will you be heading back there, Minister, to engage with residents, but also to ensure that whatever problems are hindering the progress of this project will actually be dealt with?
Now, the forums chaired by the mayor asked us to come to Giyani this week. We had a very congested program for the week covering other areas, which is very important to us. But what we've done is we shifted our Thursday program because of a small opening that we found, and we will be in Giyani. Once more, we will follow the route of the pipe. We have sites identified for that particular purpose. We will even proceed to the waterworks there, which is about to be refurbished. The part that is there is working, meaning that when water arrives, we will be able to process some megaliters. But we'll get there, and after that, we will meet the mayor and the forum, and we will meet the public.
All right.
As they would have arranged. So we are doing this with a clean heart and with commitment, and we're doing that with absolute confidence on our side that we have done everything human. It would have been like, if it rained for 3 days or for 3 weeks, what would you have done? You wouldn't have done anything, because we wouldn't have ignored the concerns raised by the king, by the chief there.
All right.
In other words, the delay is not really like anything that they've experienced in the past. But we agree that we didn't meet the date. But we
I think we can also agree that I think we can also agree that the past would not really be a good reflection in as far as making comparisons, because so little was done in the past. Minister, unfortunately, we've run out of time for this conversation. That's where we'll have to leave it for tonight. I'm back with more after this.